It's quite similar to tomahawk, but I think it deserves its own section. It's the
world's fastest serve, or at least try. I knew exactly where it was going and I still didn't touch it.
Whoa, that was fast. What happened? So, to not serve the fastest, you need enough time for it to curve down onto the table. Or it'll be like this. So you need to find the longest route, which is from this corner to that corner. Alright, and you see the stroke is basically a backhand tomahawk. So like this, and then pew. So it's got a lot of topspin for the ball to drop onto the other side, and also a bit of side spin, so it's got an even longer route for it to reach the other side. So now a couple of important points. First, you need to contact the ball around the height of the net, if not lower, because you don't want it to bounce a lot. You want to just go over the net and then touch the other side. So you have to contact the ball really low, somewhere here, and then apply a little bit of vertical force for it just jump over the net. And then when you contact the ball, you have to use a lot of wrist. You need a lot of spin. This ball is not about hitting. It's mainly brushing. Because it has top spin, once it reaches on the table, it's like a kick serve, so it accelerates on the table. And now, the difference between a backhand tomahawk and this is a backhand tomahawk, your racket is almost vertical. With this one, you need much more top spin than side spins. So you need to tilt your body and then contact the ball here so it goes on top of the ball, like this. And then afterwards, you gotta use your body to help you whip the ball. It's like a whip, so you need a lot of spin. If you want to practice this, then start slow. Just try to put a lot of spin on the ball. So just try to put a lot of spin on the ball. Really get down, you know. So this part has to accelerate with your body. Professionals, no, I don't know, but for amateur, this is pretty good serve. Pretty fast and pretty spinny. And of course, you can have other placements. For example, if we do one down the line. Oh, no, not like that. And another serve coming from this is the using reverse side to serve a long, fast serve. And you can use this with backspin, you know, and backspin. This with backspin, you know. And backspin. Same for penhold, you have this reverse side serve. It's a preference, but usually your feet should be pretty parallel to the table. And then you can either put your left hand under your racket or sometimes above. It doesn't really matter. First, when you throw up the ball, you swing your racket to your left, and at the same time rotate your body towards the left. Okay, and then shift your center of gravity to your right leg. And sometimes you see players, their left leg leaves the ground. So this helps with weight transfer. So now you're here, and then you have to swing your arm in a semicircle and motion towards your right. It's like an arc. And then you're just using your forearm mainly, and then at the end you gotta use your wrist for this part. Okay, and then together with that, your body should turn back to a normal position. So this weight transfer is very important, like this. And I get a lot of people saying, you know, off shelf, he does this and then this big motion, which is useless. But I think there's a point to it, you know. He's a world-class player and he does it for a reason, right?
And serve, let's see what happens. Experiment. And there's a serve warning. Rush into the crowd earlier, they loved it.
So when he starts, he stands like this. His body is already rotated towards the left. And then he can rotate even more. And then come here. So that he's increasing his rotation. And so his spin is higher as well. And why does he stand so low? That I don't know. Does anybody know? It's kind of tiring. So in order to do his serve, he stands up, throws up the ball, and then he takes his left leg one step backwards. So they balance out his body, and so he can also keep the ball short. So like this. Always, wherever you stand, you contact the ball when you step into the ground. So that's one motion. And you have to concentrate your power on that one point. Then you can see he also increases his forearm motion. So he raises his forearm behind his, beside his neck. And then he has this huge wrist movement right here. He uses, so everything's bigger, so he can produce more spin and more power. So now let's talk about spin. Of course, we usually contact the ball at the lower back, and then if you go upwards, then that's top side spin. If you just go normally forward, then that's a back spin, and if just to the side, then that's a side spin. And it's usually pretty straightforward. But most people use this serve as an alternative, and usually they serve these really short soft balls. So it's really hard for your opponent to utilize whatever force carried on the ball and to flip kill or, you know, even push short. So they usually do this. Really soft.
换反手发球，中间短的马龙回短。
Now let's talk about placement. Forehand short is a really good position, and sometimes if you combine it with backhand long, and very rarely you see people serve to their backhand short. So now if you want to fool your opponent, then you can do this. When you serve a backspin, at the end you can tilt your racket up, so it looks like a side spin or a top spin. Also, you can do a top spin this way. So it looks like your racket is pretty flat and you went down, but at the end you have this little movement, move up. So that's a pretty spinny top spin.
More happy for him. Backhand serve once again. 2 game points. Everyone's scoring more points. Get the ball though. Once again,
And I've seen Malone use this serve in one tournament when he's playing with Zhang Jike. He was behind by a lot, but I guess he was trying to change things up, but it worked a little bit. Now this one you can't serve long because it doesn't have too much spin. Opponent's gonna kill you. But if you serve it short, it could be a surprise, I guess. So basically, you have to stick out your elbow and really high, and then let this drop and kind of draw a curve right here. And if you just go straight, then your ball's gonna go that way. So you need this curve to go that side a little bit. So follow this path. Try this first, just get a feeling, and then you can gradually add spin on it. So you can't just, so you have to stay low, center of gravity, like this. Just stay low and then contact the ball around the height of the net. Still pretty high. So now let's talk about regular pendulum serves. So if you're a right-hand player, then it's a left side spin. So I'll include the corkscrew spin and the side spin in this chapter. I have uploaded a video before. It's called Decoding Ju Mishitani's Serve. I went over the step-by-step procedures of a cork spin serve. And if you haven't watched it, please go check it out. I won't repeat the steps here. So just to recap, this is your back spin, and when you want side spin on it and corkscrew spin, then you hit the ball at an angle and you brush it at that angle. So it's very easy, nothing special. Grip I recommended was putting 3 fingers on the side so you can have a little bit more force, but also you can still do this. So now let's talk about spin. So usually we think if your racket is going down, it's backspin, and then if it's brushing up, then it's a top spin. Yeah, that's true, that's the basics, and you should practice that. So that's backspin, and that's top spin. But in order to fool your opponent, this is not enough, so you have to produce a similar motion for a different kind of spins. Let me use Mizutani as an example. He uses this serve very often, so it's a high toss serve, and he makes this corkscrew and side spin serve. So he serves the ball very close to his body, and his actions are very similar. Schlager.
If you want them to have same movement, let's say upswing, up service. Let's say Mitsutani, go always up, or my high toss serve. Okay, you go up, but it's down spin. How come? Because I hit the ball not on the back hemisphere, but on the front hemisphere. Okay, front. So I hit here. Okay, I hit here, down spin. Okay. So if I hit here, as we saw, it's down spin. And if I hit not here, but here. That means here, it's upspin. You see? It's almost like David Copperfield is presenting a magic trick. Then, oh, it's so easy, obviously. Okay, so that means this is obviously upspin, and the change is only here. You make the same movement up. If you make like this change, only this is changing. You make this change, it's downspin, and if you make this change, it's upspin.
And topspin. And backspin. Now, a little bit different is how Tristan Floyd does his serves. He is also a high tosser. You just gotta practice the toss. That's the most important thing if you want to do his serve. So after he contests the ball, he doesn't have this extra motion. He just stops here. It looks like he's always going sort of forward and downwards. And then at the end, he has this little motion. So he just stops here. So when he does the backspin, he stops here, taking the bottom. When he does the top spin, he also stops here. He's going down, and then this little part sort of brush it upwards.
And he rolling the ball over the edge of the racket between points. Fast.
Careful not to do the serve in the basement. Now I also have one more, which is Samsonov. I have to mention it. It's very special. He serves. He stands somewhere in the middle of the table, throws really high, and he scoops up the ball at the end. So like a shovel. So one special point about these high toss serves is that you can serve really soft. Means it doesn't really go forward that much, so it's really hard for your opponent to utilize your force, especially in Samsonov's serve. He just puts the ball on the other side, so it's really hard to attack those balls. And also, I guess high toss serve comes down faster, so you have more momentum. You can put more spin onto the ball. And other than that, the stroke is pretty simple. So backspin, topspin, it's very clear in Samsonov's serve. From this serve, I want to introduce the point about placement. So Samsonov has many placements for his serves. Forehand short, middle short, and backhand short. But mainly I recommend you serve forehand short more than backhand. And he has another he has other two lines of the long serves, one over there, one to the other side. And these two are pretty, usually very effective. So it controls your opponent and makes your opponent think which serve is going to be next. And also this curve sort of screws with the judgment of the ball. So it's a great serve if you can master it. And also just a tip, for this serve, it will be more comfortable for you to attack the next ball using forehand, so you can anticipate the next ball and prepare to use your forehand to attack. Usually world-class players, they have another serve coming with this serve. They're using the same motion, which looks like this. So which is a sort of like a backspin, or sometimes backspin, sometimes no spin to the far forehand corner. So this part. And it acts as a surprise. For example, if you have the first one, here you have a long one, your opponent's gonna have this thought, oh, you're gonna serve that again. And then you serve another forehand short. Trying games. So those are high toss serves, and usually they have more spin and more of a curve. But before you master high toss, you have to get the basics right, which is low toss. And low toss could be very effective as well. And basic motion and the mechanics are the same, and how you can produce different spins are the same. So here I want to add another placement, which is the backhand corner. So like this. Now this serve is very effective when you serve it low and just out of the table, and your opponent might attempt to loop it, a light loop, and then you can use your forehand to counter over the table.
Rating out, so that straight away that would tell us that I'm a little bit more touch.
And he manages to avoid it by staying really healthy and working hard.
And this serve is most frequently used when you're playing against a player who uses the other hand. For example, I'm a right hand, and then if I serve to a left hand, I would have that placement, and the other player might attempt to lightly loop it up, and I'll just get ready for my forehand counter all over the table. And sometimes they just miss the ball entirely.
哇！性了，要是拉直线的话，这球肯定，但直线难度也非常大，确实。哎，你看，你看，哎，这就是
注意的这个角度就多了嘛。
对他，你看，
哎呀，来了，
哎，又一个，哎。
But one thing for you to notice is that sometimes they might return short to your. For example, if I'm serving over here, they might return short to my forehand short. So then I have to take care of that.
Oh.
Now you've got different spins, different placement. I want to introduce you to fake motions on this. I think Ma Lin still does it best. Alone sometimes does it, and Kokiniwa does it as well. For this one, fake motion is that after you contact the ball, you go into the opposite direction. Just like backspin, you can do this. And this one, you contact to the left and then you go to the right. Or you can flip your arm as well, like this. And now again, you have to brush the ball, and after the ball leaves your racket, then you do the extra motion. You see this a lot in penhold as well, so you can do this, This prevents your opponent from recognizing the spin, because after you contact the ball, you move immediately away, and it's really hard to tell which way you end up brushing the ball. So it's mainly your elbow. So after you contact the ball, you can jerk your elbow forward, and also your shoulder as well. So it's this part. And you can flip your arm as well, or go forward. And also you can have your own.
Full clues.
Here we are. So I hope you got something out of this video and try them in your games and see how you do. Anyways, if you have any question at all, please leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Please let me know. And thank you for watching and have fun playing.